Right, on today's Friday pod, we talk about me bringing the game to disrepute. Chris hits the bullseye in more ways than one. And team of the week this week is Farnham. Find out why. Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouchy podcast with the notorious SRD and Chris Stark. This is the special Friday edition of the pod. We're recording this slightly earlier in the week, so there are some games, TNT actually. I'm doing a lot of them. I've got a full lineup of games this week before the Saturday games, but we are concentrating on the Saturday games. Just a bit of admin quickly.
Yep. Yeah, so I see what you mean, because it might sound unusual why we're not talking about the games that have happened midweek, but that for us right now is in the future. Hope that makes sense.
And we're in a mystery location. Speculate as you will.
It looks like a padded cell, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like I'm in like Elon Musk bunker room.
But it has to remain a mystery.
Yeah.
So obviously,
please speculate.
It feels to me like we're in a weird kind of like someone's put us in some cheese.
Go on. I sort of
do you know what I mean?
Can
you imagine someone, you were a little tiny mouse and you were submerged in grey cheese?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Do you know what you're reminding me of? A conversation we had where, so I went to Disneyland not too long ago for the first time. If you're lucky enough to have gone to Disneyland, you'll relate to this. But you go on the Ratatouille ride, and that's
ride
what
there,
this that is. We both said it. It's the best ride there. Have you been on the Ratatouille?
No,
Euro Disney.
Seen it? No, yeah.
I mean,
it's amazing.
It's my favourite at Euro Disney. Yeah, if I've got to stick my neck on a line. I mean, how good is the Ratatouille?
It's brilliant. You basically are the rat in a kitchen.
Yeah, and it's all like your 3D glasses and all that. So like you're in, and then when you get locked in the oven, and then you feel the heat turn up.
Yeah,
and then obviously this it looks like the cork's about to pop, and then it pops on your face, and then you get
the spray
water on you.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not on commission for the Ratatouille ride, Euro Disney,
but you're punting
it. I do very much enjoy it.
I've got to agree, mate. It's really up there. One of the best rides. What's the best ride you've ever been on, Sid?
It's taking an interesting turn, isn't it?
Well, just whilst we're here, we might as well briefly explore. We'll get on to the football scene.
Mine would have been in Florida Disney in the summer, just gone.
You've been to Tenerife, I've been to 11.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Oh, no. Gazumptia. There were some really good ones there. The one that I'm thinking of was, it used to be the Jordan Dragons, but it's changed now. It's in the top 5 roller coasters in the world.
Is it really?
Yeah. I can't think what it's called though. The Transformer one's excellent, but it's not that one. But it's one in Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios.
Better than Ratatouille, you reckon? Though.
I've seen the Ratatouille. It looks very good.
Yeah.
I
hope you get to ride it one day. It's just on the mystery location that we're in right now. Interesting situation before we recorded this podcast where there's a dartboard outside. It's got one of them little laser rockies. So it's nice little setup. And we've got into it, haven't we, Sid? We've basically gone, right, let's get bullseye.
Yeah.
Sort of 15 minutes later, both of us are refusing to come record this podcast until one of us is hit, which obviously says two things. So one, we are quite shit at darts, but, you know, also the competitiveness of Steve Sidwell in these situations is almost infectious.
Was it? Yeah.
He wouldn't let us leave.
Well, he got it first. And then, listen, the darts are not great. You know, the weight of them darts is... it's not legal.
No, it's not a legal requirement.
And also the laser was definitely not straight.
It was wonky, wasn't it?
It was a wonky.
Was it really?
I think so.
Can you have a wonky laser?
Which surprises me because everything about the mystery location is very state of the art, and there's question marks over the laser.
Very interesting location.
Well, you almost blend into the chair, don't you?
Like a chameleon as such, isn't it? You know, it's.
Whoa!
Look at that.
Whoa!
You can do the whole podcast like that. That'd be nice.
There we are.
All right.
So anyway, it's the Friday podcast.
Let's, you got carried away there.
Welcome along. This is where we talk football.
Sorry, just talking football. Can I just big shout out to a friend of ours, Harry Hugo, owner of Farnham Town.
Yes.
They've won 19 out of 19 league games.
Wow.
This so far this season. They're in the Combined Counties Premier League South, I believe it is. But that's some go. I think they're the only team now, maybe in Europe, that's full like clean sweep. Phenomenal.
100% record.
19 out of 19.
That is an unbelievable achievement.
Yeah.
Should we make them team of the week then? We talked about doing this, didn't we?
Yeah.
We haven't got one for today, so let's get them straight in there.
Good shout. There we are.
And
Farnham.
Yep, Farnham Town.
Yeah, and who is it? Hugo.
Harry Hugo.
Harry Hugo.
Yeah. Yeah, nice guy.
Congratulations, mate.
Is he the manager, are you saying?
No, he's the owner. Yeah.
Yeah, because there must be question marks. If you own a club like that with that sort of record, it's down to you. Other clubs must be looking at it going, like, let's bring him in. Let's bring him in.
Onwards and upwards for the Farnham Town boys.
Okay, so at the time of recording this, there's been a weekend of FA Cup fixtures. There's been all sorts of stuff happening. Klopp has announced that he's going to be retiring at the end of the season. Not retiring. Hasn't he come out and said he's going to do a year off, something like that? But no English teams ever, and no other teams or countries for a year. I believe that was at the time of recording the situation.
So he's taking a gap year, basically.
Gap year.
Yeah, gap year. Because listen, it's been done to death. I'm going to sit here, obviously, because I've got an allegiance to Liverpool. Like, I suppose back it up in the fact that I'm an absolute legend. Of what he achieved at Liverpool. How he's transformed the club into something that everyone can get behind again. It was absolutely incredible. Love him as a guy. Obviously, I've been at the pleasure of spending some time in his company as well, and everything you see kind of on camera was exactly how he was off it. Absolute gentleman, and an absolute legend, and he'll be forever remembered for what he did for Liverpool. So, that was his shout out. I feel like a lot's been said about him, and that was our 2 pennies worth. But I think he is right up there with one of the best managers who's ever worked in the Premier League, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge miss, isn't it, to the Premier League next season and football in general. He's like infectious guy. I was shocked. We was playing golf, wasn't we? You told me, as I was leaving, you was like, "Oh, you heard the news about?"
Yeah, because so we had heard on the way. I was playing with a couple of Liverpool fans, and they told me, because I don't like to look at my phone, but they told me on the way round, and we were all just stood there, kind of with our mouths open, thinking, I can't believe this. And then we were missing putts, and we were going, that's Klopp's fault, that. That's the news about Klopp. Like, it felt like it affected our game. It was that kind of
It's quite unusual. You don't experience this with managers in general very often, this kind of announcement that happens so far in advance, without necessarily rumours circling. It was quite shocking. And the announcement itself, it felt like, he must be fantastic to break up with, mustn't he? Like, the way he did that video, even I felt like I was being dumped in some ways. It's just the sort of intensity, but he worded it brilliantly. And I was just watching this thing going, like, I've always struggled with breaking up with people, it's not a nice thing to do, and it's a hard one to word. And you just think he would be absolutely brilliant at it.
It's going to be interesting to see how they perform now.
How would it work with you guys? Do you think that galvanises you? Does it make you miss putts?
We made me miss putts that day, yeah. I was just, because I was just a bit like thinking of other things, you know what I mean? And I think it's a strange time to kind of announce it, but if he feels ready to announce it, that's, he's earned the fact that he can do it whenever he likes. It just felt like, they're top of the league, and why would you do that? But he's got his reasons, and who are we to judge that, because he's earned the right to do whatever he kind of likes, really.
Yeah.
I
feel like it's a fairy tale.
It'll always be held in the highest regard possible, no matter what he does from here on in.
Yeah.
True.
You're right, though. It's the way the news dropped. It did feel kind of very impactful, didn't it?
All right. Well, listen, won't say too much about it. I think there's a lot been said about it already. But apart from an absolute legend and a great guy. But you've had a great week, Chris, again. Freaking hell. Like, I'm worried now, because that leaves me and you. Chris is on 9 points. I'm on 6, you're on 5.
Yeah, so he's got a 4-point cushion on there.
2 more correct winners you had.
Well, I got a extra point for the prediction around the Watford-Southampton draw. You both backed Southampton. I warned you against that. I said it'll be a Watford win or a draw. I did as compensation should they not win, and I think I got that pretty much bang on. Early goal. I was at the goal.
Couple of last minute.
It was, yeah. It was frustrating, because what you see with Southampton there is you see how they can make substitutions, because they did put out a weaker team, but they can make 4 substitutions and then absolutely change the game.
Change the game.
And relatively last minute goal, but from a Watford fan point of view, very odd that for the 70 minutes of that game, it was probably one of the most comfortable performances I've seen of Watford all season.
Really?
So, I actually enjoyed the game. A draw is obviously a fair result in this instance. It will go to a replay where I imagine Southampton will probably come at that a bit stronger than perhaps they set up for this game. But I don't know, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because they're doing so well in the league that the FA Cup is a tricky, I don't think either team wanted a replay. It's a frustrating replay, isn't it? But points for me, most importantly.
There is points for you, and no, it makes it really kind of slightly nerve-wracking. And going into this weekend's fixtures, me and Sid need a big one, I think.
Yeah.
You got yourself a lead.
Yeah, there's some big games as well this weekend, isn't there?
Yes, that brings us nicely on to the next part of the podcast, which is supported by Paddy Power and the big weekend fixture. We're straight into it. It's Arsenal versus Liverpool. Some game.
Big.
Well, should be goals. That's what we're thinking, right?
Should be goals. What was it? Only a few weeks ago, wasn't it, that Liverpool beat Arsenal in the FA Cup? It did take them a while to get the goals, but they did beat them. I think you're right. I think there is goals in this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Liverpool are not on fire with the goals, right? It was 5 last time out, was it? 4 past Bournemouth in the last Premier League fixture, 5 past Norwich. They're scoring goals at will. Arsenal always capable of scoring goals as well. But I do fancy Liverpool in this one.
Do you?
I do. Well, I think Arsenal went for a slightly sticky patch, didn't they? Feel like they've, are they coming through it? Lost to West Ham, lost to Fulham, and then and going into this game, I think Liverpool would be favourites, even though it's at the Emirates.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting because for me, that's where it balances up slightly. Is the idea that it's a home game for Arsenal. When the fans get behind that team and the atmosphere's right, I know there's been a lot of talk around the atmosphere, maybe not being quite the same as it has been last season. But it's still, I don't know. I just think, I personally think it's a 50-50 sort of situation. So I'm actually going to go for a draw in this.
Go for a draw?
I've gone for a 2-2 draw. And I hate doing that. I hate sort of betting on a draw. I think it's going to be lots of goals.
Yeah.
I just genuinely don't know who will win that one.
All right, the draw's 13-5. A £10 gives you the total return of 36. Decent.
Yeah. See, that sounds about right.
Yeah, well, that sounds that they think you're going to be wrong as well.
Well, no.
What score are you going for?
Well, the Arsenal
2-2.
favourites. Arsenal favourites 11-10.
Are they?
£10 gives you 21
Are
back.
they really?
Yeah.
Arsenal are favourites.
Liverpool 21-10.
Whoa.
Oh, right.
Okay.
See, I would have assumed Liverpool were favourites. But then
It's just the home.
the home thing that maybe does have a bit more of a weighting in this to tip it into that, which is what we're saying.
Van Dijk's back to his best, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's looking really good. I know Trent's out. Robertson's back. He was on the bench the other day against
Great to see him back,
Fulham.
actually. The worst thing is about that Fulham game is I didn't realise it was his first game back in the squad, and I asked him for some tickets. Right, so he's been out for how long's he been out for? And then I actually thought he might just ask someone else, but then I've looked and I didn't realise he was his first game back. It was like I waited for his first game back and asked him for tickets straight away.
Did he?
No, because
produce?
it was a last minute shout. It was actually for John.
Yeah.
And
well, that or he's just thought cheeky bastard.
he must have done. He must have thought cheeky bastard. First game back for ages, and he's tapped me up. So I apologise.
Did you get the tickets? Or?
No, I didn't manage it. Oh, it was only asking on the Friday or something. It's a terrible idea. But he just said, "Can you give me some more notice, please, and stop being a cheeky." He didn't really say that, but you would have been within his rights to say that.
I thought was that the game where Sturridge was on the TV?
Yeah,
and they were on the pitch. I was stressed watching him because the right. It's chaos doing that, isn't
what did
it?
you make of
boys?
the pink scarf and the?
Well, this is his thing, isn't it? He's doing it a bit differently to the others. Yeah,
quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I agree. Yeah, it definitely adds something, doesn't it?
I mean, I worked with him that night. Him and Michael Antonio.
Of course, you were there. Yeah,
I was in the studio.
Because it was weird. Because he was when I watched it, it was like you and Antonio in the studio, and then Sturridge was downstairs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we'd been out the night before that, hadn't we? And I remember saying to my missus, I was like, bloody hell, Sid is on the TV. Like, I don't know how he's doing that.
That's something we don't. We kind of should we dig down into that? How did you feel?
I was good. I was in the gym the next morning. Yeah,
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
You're one of those, aren't you?
Well done.
Because we stayed out
I
late.
thought
Pete did the old
Just the Irish goodbye.
Houdini.
Backdoor Bertie. Hollow man, as we like to call it.
No goodbye.
No, I just got off. I just went. I was looking around. I went. Skip messy now. I'm out. I just went.
I remember a message saying,
I did
"I've
text
slipped
you,
off,
though.
son."
I did text you.
Yeah,
saying,
you did. You did.
But it was a
It was
backdoor
good.
Bertie.
It was a good night.
It was a great night.
It was
Steady
a
away.
great night.
It's a brilliant
Steady, I
night.
thought. Steady.
Steady until the point where you look around and you're in a small room singing old Irish songs, but with full confidence. It's
Great fun,
brilliant.
though, I have to say. What a great night that was.
Yeah, there was one girl in there playing an instrument. I was blown away by it, for want of a better phrase.
Small thing.
It was
No,
like
it was like the
bagpipes,
big-
but
yeah.
without blowing it. Everything about it. So it was quite an odd instrument because I'd never seen it before. I assume it's a very traditional Irish instrument. It's like a bag with all the sort of sticks coming out of it. She played this thing wonderfully. But because me and Sids were staring at this bag the whole time, I kept catching awkward eye contact with her, almost because I was trying to figure out the instrument, you know.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't like bagpipes and played in that way, it was an odd interaction. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to know how to play that.
If you do know what that instrument is, please get in touch.
I think the only other thing at the Fulham thing is they've got a watch out for the flags as well. I saw that doing the rounds on socials. You know, they're going,
Let's all just be careful.
yeah.
So you've gone for a 2-2 draw.
2-2.
2-2 draw.
Yep.
You've not said yours.
I know. I went for what did I go for? I wrote it down. I think I went for 2-1 Liverpool.
You're going for a 2-1 Liverpool
2-1
win.
Liverpool win.
Okay. I've also gone for a 2-1 Liverpool win.
Oh no! So you change your line.
No.
Like I should change.
No,
Have you got
because
to
I
change? Just stick to each
Yeah,
other.
you just stick to yours 2-1.
All right then.
I'm
Are you changing? Let's stick this.
I'm gonna.
Let's try and drag him back. He's gone for a draw. We've gone for Liverpool win. Stick by our guns. We'll pull him back. And we'll have a tense finale.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll stick on that one then because I do feel like that's going to be the score. 2-1.
Well, that's
2-1, 2-1, 2-2.
What about 2-1? Right, I can see it now. 2-1 in the last minute.
Imagine how tense.
Equaliser.
We've not had this.
3-pointer.
We've not had this
Would be
this
good.
season where you boys stand to get 3 points.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And then all of a sudden you steal those 3 points off us.
Yeah. So Liverpool are 2-1 up
Yeah.
in the 85th minute.
Yeah. And then
But
like
if those fuckers don't finish on this game, I'll be fuming because they've done this to me in the past, Arsenal.
yeah. Well,
But
so one of them's
imagine
going to pop up. Imagine one of them pops up, but imagine one of them doesn't. That would be even more exciting for me.
what am I
I'd love it
imagining?
if there is an equaliser and it gets disallowed.
Oh, it goes to
So go back to
goes-
2-1.
those bastards bring out VAR.
A little
and so-
VAR.
A little VAR one.
Listen, we'd have to get on the phone to each other now and just talk through the VAR situation as it's happening live. All right. Well, I look forward to watching that. Okay, then. Paddy Power are offering a completely free bet builder on the game. See T's and C's in the show notes. Odds are correct at the time of recording. Please gamble responsibly. All right. So some great games in this this weekend, by the way, as well. I'm actually at this one. Everton Tottenham.
Oh.
I'm gonna be at Goodison Park. It's the green weekend this weekend.
Okay.
So I'll be sustainably travelling and eating vegan food.
Are you really?
Probably not. But I will be trying to go greener.
Yeah.
I don't know about what I'm saying. I'm not gonna be eating vegan food. I don't think.
Okay, so have you done this before?
Yeah,
this is
I
this
will
weekend
be.
been
I'll
done
be
before?
trying
go
to go
green.
green
Yeah.
for one weekend. It's an initiative that obviously TNT and Sky Sports are behind, and it's a great one.
Mm.
Will you be cycling to the game?
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
So
No, great. And I guess it's bringing certain topics into discussion.
Okay, yes.
it's all
Great.
good. I probably will have a burger at half time though.
Yeah, as long as you do it sustainably, I guess.
Yeah.
I have not been briefed as to what this weekend is, so I'm only reacting to it. But I think come the weekend,
I'm just being
you'll have
honest.
the messaging
I'm
down.
being honest.
No, exactly. You'll have the messaging down, and it's a green weekend to
Promote
promote green
climate
stuff.
change,
Yeah, exactly.
global warming. You know, these are big topics.
They are.
That we're all. I'm no Greta, but I'm trying.
Okay, so what game is
So
it?
Everton Spurs.
So
Everton at home
Okay.
against Spurs.
Feels like after Everton have had a good run. Feels like they've had a few bad ones. They're winless in the past 4 Premier League games, with 3 defeats ended by their goalless draw against Aston Villa in the last time out.
But they are at home. I always think they've got a chance at home.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Even against Tottenham, obviously it was pretty lacklustre against City in the FA Cup. But they're getting players back.
Yeah, I mean, the horse whisperer, I've been on the phone to him this week, or her, and they said they've been in the training ground this week, in and around it, the Spurs.
The horse whisperer's been at Spurs this week?
They said, the feel-good factor's good there.
Really?
Yeah,
Is
it? It's a good place. It's a good place. There's good vibes coming from the top through to the bottom.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
That might reflect on my scoreline, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys have heard.
No,
I've actually been down at Spurs training ground this week.
Have you?
I have, yeah. And
just to clarify, you're not the horse whisperer.
I look like a fucking horse, but I can't whisper.
Are we all going for a Tottenham win?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on then, shoot.
Okay, so really this comes down to who's going to get the correct score here for the points. Because we're all going for the same
You want to go first, Sid? I feel like you don't go first much.
I was, if I'm honest, I was edging on a 1-1 draw.
Oh, right.
I was edging on a 1-1 draw. But I'm gonna go Spurs 2-0. I'm gonna go Spurs 2-0.
What about you, Pete?
Well, that's what I had. Spurs 2-0, yeah. But I will change that.
Okay.
Because we went together on the last one. I'm going to go 2-1 then. 2-1 to Tottenham.
2-1. I've gone Tottenham 3, Everton 0.
Yeah, that's pretty convincing. That's a statement. That
yeah.
So
listen,
hope it doesn't happen.
Time recording.
So what's that? 2-0, 2-1, 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's fire straight into Man United West Ham then. Another great game. It's notoriously always been a good game, I thought.
Yeah.
When I think of Man United West Ham, I always think of the one where like Andy Carroll had a load of chances where they didn't win the league. And Blackburn won it.
That was at Upton Park.
And it was at Upton Park.
Yeah.
There was a load of chances, wasn't there? And they didn't.
They had the black. They were wearing the black kit.
Black kit, was it? The black kit?
It was like goalmouth scrambles, everything, wasn't it?
Was absolute carnage, yeah. And in the end, Blackburn won the league. That's what I was just thinking out of them. But this one's obviously at Old Trafford.
Very quickly on Man United in the FA Cup and the weekend just gone. What's your take on players like, world-class players celebrating almost like they've won the Champions League, but it's at Newport?
That was I get it because it's a tough fixture for them. There's no good can come out of it. They're expected to do them over. I've played in these games so many times, and they're under so much pressure at the moment. The manager's under so much pressure. I kind of get it a bit, and I actually quite like the fact that they were taking it. It meant a lot to them. It looked like
it is tricky against Newport. I was interested to get your take. I was talking to you, Sids, earlier about I absolutely love Newport with a passion. I've got this weird, where you just pick certain teams that you don't get to see very often. I've been to a couple of their games.
We've spent time in Newport ourselves.
Rodney Parade.
Yeah,
what was the pub?
The Amber Bar, I think it was called. I might have got it wrong, but the Amber
Bar. Did he play
up
front for Newcastle?
I had one of the best nights of my life in there, and the fans are so passionate, and they'd beaten Leicester in the FA Cup. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah,
a really good Leicester team, and Newport seemed to be one of those FA Cup teams that always progress, and it's an amazing day. It's the real sort of essence of the FA Cup, I think, with that club. But yeah, it was interesting watching that United game, and I thought the celebrations were, well, they obviously drew some attention online, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And obviously, it was Rashford who missed that game. He was out in Belfast or something.
Oh, yeah.
Not ideal, is it?
Yeah. Reported ill, by all accounts.
Yeah, I don't know the full story. I think there's pictures of him in a nightclub, something like that. But I don't know if obviously if you're saying he's ill, I don't. And by the time this comes out, it probably has been moved on. It's been dealt with as a kind of. But those disciplinary things, just on a wider point, taking it away from Rashford, those sort of things where you've gone out on a bit of or you have gone out on a bit of a night out, that kind of thing. When managers then come out publicly and say, "Oh, we're going to deal with it internally," when they say deal with it internally, do you actually get called into the manager's office and get a sort of telling off, or is it dealt with intermediaries? Or
no, I've been in the manager's office. Saying like, basically, explain yourself. It's either an apology or it's not, isn't it?
What was your thing? Would you just apologise?
Depends if I was in the wrong. I'm big enough to admit when I'm in the wrong, and I have been on occasions.
Were you ever presented with picture evidence?
I think that evidence was circulating in newspapers anyway. Well, for instance, obviously, I always remember one that was in my head was out of a sunroof coming out of a bar, and someone had taken a picture of it from behind, and it was on the back page of the Daily Mail, and it was how to impress Capello Pete. I think it was might have been in between England games. My head was out the sunroof, and I was jumping up and down. I thought I was away from everyone really, but someone had taken a picture of it, and that was not ideal. And that was an in-house disciplinary matter.
Big fine.
Well, I couldn't really say it wasn't me. Could I?
I was going to say that there's no like sort of photoshopping going on there, is there?
But what was I doing? Like, what was?
It's when you have a drink, isn't it? It's like you get that invisible.
What's that sunroof though? It's not a good idea, even if you weren't
can't go incognito there, can
no,
you? There's not many people that can do that, I suppose. In general,
just for the 1 second laugh of like the lads behind going, "He's at the sunroof." That was funny.
I just wonder if anyone listening to this has ever been sort of caught on camera, like they've said to their work, they're, sorry, I'm ill, or I'm out somewhere, or, I'm not available for work.
Yeah.
And then they've got centre court tickets.
Wimbledon's the one, isn't it? Now, Wimbledon's the one, isn't it? Imagine you're behind, I'm ill, and then you're behind the serve every time.
Happened to a
There's
friend of
Dave.
mine. Happened to a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Actually, last year, said he was ill, and he was seen walking with his missus, genuine one, walking with his missus behind the TV camera, and they got him.
At Wimbledon?
Walking out, yeah. It was when he's walking out of all the timings as well. They went to one of the reporters there, and he was just doing the update, and they see him and his missus walking out.
Problem is, there's cameras fucking everywhere at Wimbledon. It's like, there's cameras above it. There's cameras on the hill.
I've never done it.
There's cameras. You'll get caught in the back of the studio ones where you're walking up the ramp. There was a similar story, I think, of it. It was a guy who phoned in sick to work, and he was an England fan. And there was a photo of him in the paper jumping into the Trafalgar Square fountains. I seem to remember that one doing the round. If you're listening to this and you've ever been pulled up on, by your boss or something,
there's going to be some great stories of that.
We'd love to hear them.
Yeah, get involved. Right, so what do we reckon? Man United, West Ham, give us a score.
Okay, well, you go first because we've gone first time.
1-1.
Why? We've gone for the same.
We're the same every time.
Every time.
Okay. A bit suspicious almost.
Oh, well, you know what? We don't look at them until we've placed them in front of each other.
I like 1-1. Go on, I'll let you have that then. 1-1.
All right.
What do you think?
I've gone West Ham 2, Man United 1.
I like that as well.
West Ham 2, Man United 1. Okay. So I'm going to go.
That man Dave's helping you now.
He's not helping. No,
there's definite.
I swear down. What do you mean?
There's definitely been a shift.
No, I'll tell you what's happened is, after being the person that did the forfeit, I've decided to stop doing these where you go, the odds on 7-0 are 300 to 1 or something. I've gone, go on.
I'll have a piece of that.
I've just started getting. I'm doing this. I've told you this half of the season I'm going full missionary.
You're ploughing through. Are you missionary?
Yeah,
full steam.
Yeah, full steam.
It's not pretty, but it's just gonna be very effective.
Gets the job done, and you'll have a baby at the end of it.
Good momentum at the moment.
No one's enjoyed it, but we will have something at the end.
We'll get there eventually. Come on then.
Okay, so draw 1-1. You've gone for a 2-1 West Ham win.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna go Man United then.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go for a Man United 2-0 home victory.
Wow.
So it's all on the line there.
Fantastic.
Great.
All right then, guys, let's wrap that one up. Shall we get into... I've got a big message here from an anonymous source. I haven't read this, but I've got a nod of approval from behind the camera. I'm a 37-year-old Southampton fan, but about 4 years ago, my wife and I took the bold step to move up to the northwest of England, close to my wife's parents. Whilst obviously remaining loyal to watching as much football up here too, I've also started getting into rugby league. It helps when your local team's quite decent. I went to a handful of matches last season, picking up the rules and recognising players and the way they play. For my birthday just gone, my mother-in-law decided to get me my own Wigan Warriors shirt. I honestly didn't want to come across as ungrateful, but she also announced that she had it printed. Sighing, but wanting to embrace the present, I gave her a quizzical look, not thinking she knew which was my favourite player. She's got the pet name my wife calls me that has very little backstory. Honestly, don't read too much into it. The number 69 on the back. I love the shirt. Do I embrace people standing behind me or walking near me whispering or questioning? Or will this always be one of those shirts to wear to the game with a hoodie on over the top? And there's a picture of the shirt here. Weenie is at the top and 69 below.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, the pet name Weenie.
Does his wife call him Weenie?
Yeah, that's the pet name. But it's saying don't read too much into this.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not? What are we saying? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I'm not sure I'll be happy if my wife called me Weenie.
No. Well, no, you wouldn't. No. And
nothing good comes of Weenie, surely.
But I can't see any other context to that. And also the pairing of Weenie and 69 is a problem, obviously, for the back of the shirt. But I think it comes down to the very simple question mark of intent. Your mother-in-law's bought you this shirt.
Is she shit-housing you?
She must be, because, and I would love you to ask her, surely she knows
mums
what
and daughters
69
talk.
is.
Also, mums and daughters talk a lot.
Yeah, but we're ignorant if we all think, and I hate to take all our thoughts there, but our in-laws, parents, all sorts, all know what that is. We like to pretend they don't. She's not slapped 69 on the back of that shirt without having a little giggle to herself, has she? She's not, and people just have to have an honest conversation.
Has he been shithoused by his mother-in-law?
Yeah.
100%.
Has he really?
Yeah.
I think so.
But does he wear it out? That's the question. Like, if you got that on the back of your jersey and you're going, surely you're going to hear the sniggers behind.
The thing is for me is how many times is he going to the games with his mother-in-law? I mean, he can put it on as he leaves her house, maybe if he's with her, and then just get the top over. You know what I mean, you can't be walking around with Weenie 69 on your back.
You should get one for her printed 69 Weenie in law, something like that, and give it to her.
Mother Weenie, 69.
Mother Weenie. I don't know. I think you're going to have a tricky conversation there. Just look her in the eye. Maybe it's on a Christmas or something like that. Maybe you've had a couple of drinks. Just look her in the eye and go, did you know? I think you just got to get that cleared up in your head, because you'll always wonder.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm slightly looking at this league that we've got here, slightly nervously now. We've got to pull our finger out.
Yeah, more. Yeah, I mean, what was I in front the whole way last time? Wasn't I? I had a good lead, but now it's. I can see what position you was in. I'm nervous.
I've just got to float the idea. We don't know what the forfeit is yet.
No,
not really been discussing that, but it's going to be something potentially bigger than what I had to do. And mine was pretty big.
Not looking forward to that. All right.
Also, lads, just talking of shithousery, can we give a shout out to the Upshot? The Twitter account that wrote the Graham Stack story that I read word by word on the last podcast. Basically, what's happened is I gave them a shout out when we were talking through the tweets. This sounds almost no one's going to believe me because I'm saying it like this, but then it got cut out when it came to the edit and all of that of this, which is an accident, and these things happen, and we've spoken to those guys and they're all cool. So we just want to give them a big shout out just to really underline that obviously I was reading it word for word, like it's their thing and they're brilliant and they made these stories, and we need to now get Graham Stack on the podcast too.
Yeah, I will touch base with Stack Attack and we'll get him on the pod. And also for people that are listening, they won't be able to see this, but the ones that are watching, just to clarify that this is a safety pin around my neck, and I'm hoping that production can possibly get a clip for me next week.
A few bits of admin just to clear up there at the end.
I often wonder about this podcast. It's just another thing to add to the list.
I carried it well.
Chumbawamba next week, though, eh?
Okay. Yeah. I'm excited for next Wednesday's podcast as well. Chumbawamba, everyone.